Bitcoin is a word. People use it. What does it mean? Nobody really knows.
Somebody will think once or twice before they put a dick butt on the blockchain for a massive amount of sats.
We said it was stupid.
We were the ones that were saying that it was stupid.
No keys, no cheese.
I think one of the reasons why we have the Bitcoin conference here is because other states basically wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, and during the pandemic, fun fact.
The IQ on this guy is excellent for our purposes.
Good morning, Miami.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pete Rizzo, editor of Bitcoin Magazine. We're here at the Bitcoin Magazine live desk presented by Marathon, and it's opening day at Bitcoin 2023. Thousands of people are descending on Miami, Florida. Hundreds of vendors. We've got hodlers. We've got celebrities. We've got the car from Back to the Future.
Mining FUD.
Christmas lights, hot tubs, the cloud, Netflix.
Elitist cabal.
Exchange collapses.
SEC, CFTC, ground turf wars.
Criminal activity.
Gratuitously inefficient transaction construction.
Mining FUD.
Terrorist activity.
Insider trading, manipulation, and pump and dump schemes.
And you'll even get to watch some wizards debate the dreaded O word.
Ordinals.
We're here because they scam people, right?
It's crap. It has
crap.
no value.
There's no value here.
First thing you recognize is most of them don't even know what they're talking about.
The wall of money.
And just keep my family under control and tell them everything's all fine.
Bitcoin's on sale, and this crypto technology, which most of it turned out to be smoke and mirrors.
Most of the world has not yet realized what Bitcoin is.
Clarity is coming to the entire crypto space.
And we're getting closer to what Bitcoin actually is. Some guy in a hoodie in his mom's basement.
They scam people.
They feel the pain of the problem, but they don't yet understand the solution.
Bitcoin is for your enemies.
Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are being used for criminal activities.
Bitcoin is for, people that just want to get rich quick.
The industry is a joke, right?
In this sort of cultish type, scammers are going to scam. It's just what it is.
Look at Bitcoin as like old technology. It's a dumb, slow rock, can't do anything. However, now we're seeing that it can do everything. It can do exactly what these other platforms promise to do.
No confirmation on that.
Well, no confirmation.
Everything that they've thought about Bitcoin as opposed to crypto is wrong.
And somehow, Bitcoin's still not dead.
Activity. For those joining on the live stream, the audience is booing.
All of those startups that are creating things we can't even imagine.
Christmas lights, hot tubs, the cloud, Netflix.
Terrorist activity.
Exchange collapses.
And when you see what's happening in some of these different spaces.
Ordinals.
Criminal activity.
Mining FUD.
For the life of me, I can't believe more people, more VC, more money isn't competing in this space.
We're at the Bitcoin conference, and Bitcoin doesn't work.
I wish more people could see what I see.
Tucker Carlson being kicked off Fox, I mean, who knows really what happened there, but
for the most part, if you actually want to use social media today, you have to watch your words, which is preposterous to me.
But I think the issue with Bitcoin culture in the last 2-3 years is that people decided that instead of building, they can just go on podcasts and complain.
I, for example, had an interview with Robert Kiyosaki taken down from YouTube because they didn't like what he said about vaccines and elections.
Bitcoin appeals to both the right, which we've been more accustomed to.
Ron DeSantis in the free state of Florida.
Supporting a lot of these woke agendas and whatnot, right? Not because they really believe in it.
LGBTQ+, BLM, climate change activism, etc. All encouraged by the same central planners that issue ESG mandates.
You can't say anything on the internet right now, and it's truly unbelievable.
It's one of the only professions in the world where you can be completely wrong about absolutely everything all the time.
Their arrogance and selfishness knows no bounds.
Quick apology to the viewers out there. Our live stream was abruptly cut on YouTube, ironically during a conversation about censorship on YouTube. We're fixing the problems.
And I know everybody's extremely excited about Elon Musk now that he's, taken over Twitter.
Self-understanding is replaced with critical race theory.
Ron DeSantis in the free state of Florida.
Instead of kids living this, they get this.
And Bitcoin is the ultimate conservative thing.
Instead of this, they get this. Excellence, a virtuous ideal always worth striving for, is reclassified as discriminatory and replaced with participation trophies and body positivity. And instead of this, they get this. And as an aspiring sovereign individual, I'm not here to play any blame games. But I think we can all identify the source of this cultural fragmentation.
I think this is going to go down in history as one of the dumbest things people in the 20th and 21st century believed.
Decentralization in action.
Adoption comes out of desperation. That's how I see the future going.
Why shouldn't every piece of content ever posted, a reply, a post, have the opportunity for a payment?
And so you have like 13-year-olds just like throwing away $100 because they don't really understand what, what they're doing.
Do you own anything but Bitcoin?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I own Ethereum, lots of fucking shit coins. Come on, guys. Y'all know you trade some Bitcoin. Don't sit here like that.
And unfortunately, we do have some people that are pushing that Bitcoin is bad for the environment or that it's not clean energy or whatever. And I just want to say to that, and I want to look in the camera and say it, please do not fall for the climate change psyop.
Whatever the hell these environmentalists say.
Politicians who support Bitcoin are on the rise, while anti-Bitcoin politicians who opt for a more totalitarian approach and take their policy lessons from China are in decline.
Bitcoin mining is actually better for the environment than the current systems that we have in place.
Coming up next, we have the Indonesia Bitcoin mining campaign. With Ridwan Kamil, the governor of West Java. This is a population of 50 million people.
So the interesting thing is, in Indonesia, Bitcoin payments are actually prohibited.
My biggest achievement, I have 20.2 million followers in my Instagram account.
Bitcoin allows for the transformation of money into energy.
Currently, digital payment in Indonesia is everywhere. I'm paying everything with my e-wallet, but not yet to Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin appreciates roughly 60% a year median. And by 2023, that's very conservative too. By 2023, Bitcoin should be about 2.9 or 3 million.
Wildly exciting. I can't even imagine some of the other things, the use cases.
Christmas lights, hot tubs, the cloud, Netflix.
Exchange collapses.
Criminal activity.
Nobel Prize.
What exactly is the revenue model? Where exactly is the money coming from?
Terrorist activity.
We don't want to break our leg in the beginning of an incredibly important race towards innovation.
People just don't trust the government anymore.
And you have dedicated your career to fighting for the people. And now you're fighting for Bitcoin.
When I was practicing law, I represented mining companies and oil and gas companies. And so the concept of mining came naturally.
Yeah, I wrote a book to try to help people. I think.
The intellectual conversations that I see, that I've been seeing at this conference for years now, have been so subpar that I don't feel confident that you guys even have the first clue.
You take something centralized, and then you don't do that. How complicated could it be?
Nobel Prize, huh?
We can look to models around the world to give us some inspiration. So we'll start with ants. Ants have a really interesting way of discovering food. Bees offer another example of consensus through the individuals.
Most of us are so brainwashed to only change through pain.
Do you own any Bitcoin?
It's in the FTX bankruptcy.
Things are getting worse, right? Inflation, a 40-year high. We've seen economic activators have been in the red, a recession coming this year, but yet we're not really seeing the price of Bitcoin go up.
I'm a John Fetterman 2024 all the way, guys. He's got to be the next president. It's the best thing we can do for Bitcoin. The IQ on this guy is excellent for our purposes.
Everything's a shitcoin. What if we put gold on a blockchain?
We're not waiting for Super Nintendo. You know, we're not here because Visa was not fast enough.
Could not be more excited to be on stage with the leading monetary innovator, thinker, and educator, Michael Saylor.
The IQ on this guy is excellent for our purposes.
Those are thermodynamically sound rules for life.
These rules for life broadly align with the Bitcoin mindset, by the way.
It was a very expensive marketing campaign.
Michael Saylor's first rule for success, focus.
It is backed by digital power.
Number 2, guard your time.
Measured in exahash.
Number 3, train your mind.
Shrinking, disappearing.
Number 4, train your body.
So I think of it as everybody's got a left arm and a right arm.
Number 5, think for yourself.
If it's not built on Bitcoin.
6, curate your friends.
In essence, it needs to be a network that runs without human intervention.
7, curate your environment.
It's not gold anymore and it's not land anymore.
8, keep your promises.
All being viewed with increased skepticism.
9, be cheerful and constructive.
There's the meltdown of Terra, the meltdown of Luna, the meltdown of Celsius, the meltdown of BlockFi, the failure of Alameda, the failure of FTX, the failure of all the crypto tokens.
And 10, upgrade the world.
I want McDonald's to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin and offer people Bitcoin rewards when they download the McDonald's apps.
So help me think through what that could mean from an investor's perspective, buying MicroStrategy stock today versus how someone may have thought about it 4 or 5 years ago.
Shrinking, disappearing.
Coming up to maybe talk about Fauci, maybe to talk about vaccines, but most importantly, we're going to hear his thoughts on Bitcoin.
I'm proud to announce Robert F. Kennedy Jr. coming up to the stage to be our next keynote speaker.
I'm not an investor, and I'm not here to give investment advice.
He's second in the race for the Democratic primaries, and you know the first in the race is quite literally a vegetable.
And they censored free speech in the name of combating misinformation and disinformation.
Most hypocritical thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
But the Constitution has no pandemic exception. And some of the best engineers and coders in the tech industry work in this field.
Oh, wow.
My administration will consult with knowledgeable people like yourselves.
Dick butt on the blockchain.
The reason that I got into Bitcoin was because it used to be the intellectual center of the world. Our current, Bitcoin engineers, they don't have the first fucking clue.
Whether individuals like Ross Ulbricht, I will consider pardoning them.
I'm kind of sad that I had to sit and watch this one, to be honest.
Public health became a pretext to obliterate our basic rights and freedoms.
I think this is going to go down in history as one of the dumbest things people in the 20th and 21st century believed.
What we almost saw there was a love letter to Bitcoin.
We're going to make a joke about cast iron versus stainless steel pans, but we all know that we'd all rather watch people fight about ordinals, so we're just going to get out of the way.
Like, of all the possible things that you could choose in this world, why do you choose to be a block space Karen?
Strong pumpamentals here.
The biggest thing about this is that this is an adversarial network, not just in the cultural sense, as you see guys dressed like junior varsity Gandalf trying to show their new thing.
That's not how you use it. You should use Bitcoin in this particular way.
Throwing random crap on the blockchain, and it is random crap, let's be clear.
BRC-20 specifically is just reinventing Counterparty, except 3 times less efficient for no reason.
And deliberately worse. I mean, like, gratuitously worse.
So if the Bitcoin blockchain is full of wizard pictures, it's actually faster to run a node.
SegWit enabled Lightning. Like, you literally could not have a payment channel that would route both ways.
Broke. We said it was stupid.
We were the ones that were saying that it was stupid.
The critiques of Bitcoin that, it uses too much energy, quote unquote, are profoundly misguided. We need to use more energy.
They make an example of those of us who dare to speak the truth.
So people are saying Bitcoin is supposed to be safe against nation-state attacks. If they aren't even safe against me and Udi fucking around, then what the fuck is the purpose of this entire fucking conference, of this entire project?
And call out what is common sense and obvious to the rest of us about their insanity and hypocrisy.
I did get given some Bitcoin by people who wanted me to write about it. And they took my phone out of my hands, they put an app on it, a wallet, they gave me enough money to buy a cup of coffee, and walked to a coffee shop with me in Palo Alto to show me that you could buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. They had arranged for the coffee shop to accept Bitcoin. And we got there, and 15 minutes later, you still couldn't pay for the cup of coffee, so they just let me, I gave cash, and they let me keep the Bitcoin.
I'll have read yourself.
You didn't say that when I called you to interview you. You looked a little nervous, and you seemed a little standoffish.
You see some cultural differences. What do you think about the whole scene?
Like the
ethos, just like the feeling you get when you speak to us.
Digital financial world versus the old financial world. How do I see them? There are a bunch of things that come to mind. So one of the interesting things to me is, and again, Bitcoin's one thing and crypto land's another, but there's some overlap. And if you go back to Satoshi's original paper, line 1, paragraph 2, is you eliminate the need for a trusted financial intermediary. Clearly, the very beginning of the spirit of the enterprise is mistrust of the existing financial institutions, well-earned mistrust on the back end of the financial crisis. And so you would think that that would generate a very mistrustful environment. Instead, what happens is lots of institutions get generated inside of crypto that have unbelievable amounts of trust bestowed on them by the people in crypto. Like, it's a really trusting environment. People getting burned left and right, and they're still here, right? On the other hand, the original financial system is premised not on mistrust, but trust. It's like it's on the currency, right? And it depends entirely on like trusted financial intermediaries. But nobody trusts any of these places as far as you could throw them. Like, I mean, it's like there's this curious, almost mirror image thing going on between the two worlds.
And just keep my family under control and tell them everything's all fine.